Welcome to the Good Rookies podcast. My name is Faheem.
My name is Nelly J, and we are Good Rookies.
That's right.
What up, y'all? This is Good Rookies Holiday Edition. That's right. It's the holiday season. And y'all, we're so excited. Faheem, this is our last recorded episode, I think, for 2020.
Last one of 2020. That's right.
Guys, it's episode 19.
19. So we usually, or sometimes we have a guest, but tonight we have our tech guy in the back, Jomo.
Jomo.
You guys are too funny.
He'll be here as usual, keeping us on track. So you might be hearing a little bit from him, just to make sure that we stay online.
Keep us in check. And if y'all haven't noticed or seen yet, we have a celebrity in the building. Ooh, we got Mr. Commentator for the NBA XL, the lineup for him for the win. Bro, you were on national television, brother. You were on NBA TV Canada. Okay? Canada. From YouTube to TV, yo. Good Rookies doing it big, y'all. I don't care what anyone says. We are lit as. So, Faheem, how was that like to be on NBA TV Canada, bro?
It was cool. First time on national TV. Actually, first of all, shout out to Dwayne Watson, producer extraordinaire. Shout out to even Patrice, man like Patrice, holding it down. Yeah, it was dope. I mean, went in, made our points and left, but it actually, I like how it turned out. Usually sometimes, especially if you're on national TV, you don't want to be that one to make a mistake or say something that you say, they clean it up and it looks good.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was, me. I was like, yes, that's my boy. So I thought you did great. Very, very, very happy. I felt like, oh, look at my little child. Look at him go. Look at him on TV. So just big up for him for that. Big up Dwayne Watson. And yeah, y'all, Good Rookies got a lot of things in store for 2021. So you got to stay tuned for that. Yeah, real talk.
That's right. 2021 for sure. So actually, one other thing I want to shout out Nelly J. We had the Good Rookies holiday drive that had passed, and she went above and beyond to make this happen. A success, I might add. So salute to you.
Thank you, man. Honestly, salute to my partner in crime, Vanessa V. Breezy. It's an initiative that she started years ago, and I came on board last year with her, and I was like, girl, I see the potential of this. Let's make it bigger and better. And, us combined, we were able to get things rolling last year. But this year, Good Rookies was able to sponsor the actual drive, which was amazing, which really helped us jumpstart the marketing, help push the messaging out there. And we had we blessed 248 homeless individuals downtown. That includes from babies up to men and women and the youth. So it's very humbling. Our tech man, Jomo, was down there as well, helping us hand things out on, we were up Jomo, 6 a.m. Early in the morning, y'all. But
yeah, it was early.
We were early, but we had to get down there early so we can kind of bless the folks downtown, and just humbling to see that, we can kind of make someone's Christmas better, whether that's giving them, fresher hats, clothing, gloves. It's just humbling. So big up to all the volunteers, to all the donators. Thank you so much. For everyone who shared the actual drive itself. Thank you so much, everybody. So thanks, y'all.
Nice. Rate that. So, all right, let's get into this. So let's start off with the OG Anunoby contract extension.
Woo! OG's Bizak. I wasn't shocked. I was more like, okay, he's getting, I don't know if you saw this, but OG signed with LeBron's agent, right?
Okay.
Last year, right? So it came out that I think Clutch, right?
Right.
They have signed in this offseason $500 million worth of contracts. They signed AD, LeBron, Anunoby, and I forgot the two others. But that's already, so they made that much revenue in terms of contracts in a 2-week off season, a month, right? So it's so cool having a Raptor, a part of that family. You know what I mean? And it's really great I'm happy for OG. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a big fan of his. I love his maturity. And I think he'll be the future Kawhi, to be honest. He has the potential. Like, if he keeps on track to where he was last year, he could be a top 3 or 4 player in the NBA in the next couple of years. So I think it's a good, I no, for real talk. Like, I think it's a good signing. Really, I really do.
100%. 4 years, 4 years, 72 million. That extension is well worth it for someone like OG. When you're talking about the future, I don't know if he has a first, second, or third NBA team in him, to be honest. I do think, but when you look at what you're getting for him, like keeping what you have, OG definitely is someone who, for the future, like when you say that young Kawhi-ish, you know, obviously Kawhi is an elite, but OG has what it takes to be a solid NBA player. All-star. Let me ask you: do you think he can be an all-star?
Yeah. Like, first of all, how many guys?
5 years. In 5 years. Next 5 years.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. Yeah. Like, how many guys, you know, his age can do a buzzer beater in the playoffs? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that takes a lot of like when he shot it, he walked off like it was nothing. And again, to me, it's not even about like what I'm seeing today. It's just that like he has the mentality to become a top player in the NBA. I think a lot of guys come in NBA with mad skill, but up here is weak. And I feel like he has up here strong already. So if he builds and develops more like his skills wise in terms of creating offensive plays, passing game, and so forth, if he continues up in that trajectory, I really think he can actually be an all-star because he has this already on lock. And that's and in the NBA, that's the hardest part to do, is have this on lock. It's the toughest part, to have your brain and mentality on lock.
No, I agree that he's got the pieces already, without a doubt. I mean, there's some things where the obvious comparison is going to be him and Pascal. Both young, both coming in about the same time. Pascal's had more opportunities with, first of all, OG starting his career with the injury. Even in playoff experience, having I think his appendix removed before the playoffs last year. So he's been hampered, kind of behind the ball a bit. So I'm going to ask you, do you think out of him and Pascal, same thing in a 5-year horizon?
Wow.
Remember, and we're talking Pascal's already been a NBA second team and an NBA all-star.
An all-star. I think, I really think that I think he can be. I really think so. Like, I'm not even trying to boost the man, but I would pick, like, if they say, you know, pick OG or Pascal for this season to trade for superstar, I want to keep OG because I think his threshold, I don't think he's met his threshold yet. I think he's still going up there slowly because when he peaks, he's going to be phenomenal. And he hasn't even peaked yet. He's still moving up that slope. I think Pascal, I think he could have peaked. But he could have peaked, Pascal, to be honest. Like, I think last year was his best season yet. If he can do what he did last year, I can now say, okay, Pascal's consistent. But I feel like last year was his best year yet. Let's see what he does in the regular season this year. But I think OG is still he's gonna peak in like 2-3 years. He's so young.
Jomo, what do you say? Pascal or OG next 5 years?
OG, because of the mental. Both of them were Raptors projects that were supposed to be hitting around the same time. The money was actually on OG, but like you mentioned, he had the 2 major issues last season. So with that, I think that held him back. But even before that, I think OG was expected to be the one, and he's coming into it. And because his mental's there, I expect it. And also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, OG has more experience in basketball than Siakam, because I think he played in the U.S. College circuit, right?
OG played at Indiana. He got injured, right? So he actually landed in the Raptors' lap just due to luck. Like, literally, Raptors, I can't remember the pick, but we had a later pick that year. OG was supposed to be a higher pick, and because of the injury going into the draft, his stock dropped and dropped and dropped until he fell in the Raptors' lap. If OG went into that draft healthy, he would not have been gone.
I would have gotten him. Exactly.
True. Well, actually, so shout out
to you, Faheem.
I'm team OG all the way. Like honestly, I'm so team OG that I believe him when he tells Serge he started scarves. I'm with OG. If OG
Earth
said
King.
it,
Don't act like I didn't put you on the fashion. Don't act.
Yo, don't
Don't
ask
act
me.
like I didn't put you on the stars.
But what about scars?
Scars?
But what about scars?
though? What about
What about
scars
scars
though?
though? What about scars though?
Scars, though?
Yo, listen, Scarf King forever.
Shout out to OG and Anunoby. All right, so the NBA, they're going into an expansion right now. Or actually, Adam Silver's been
Well,
talking.
are they going to expand? Because Adam is kind of like, we want to, we're thinking about it. It's the front, but I don't know if they're going to actually do it for Jaheim. So what's your thoughts on this expansion talk?
So I do think, so they talk about Europe expansion. I've heard that talk before. I really don't think it's I think it's more of a concept than reality. But when we're talking about expanding in North America, or even as they say, maybe Mexico, North American expansion, I think it's doable. I mean, the league is constantly growing. You know, it depends. A lot of people could say, hey, you know what, the talent maybe is shrinking, so maybe you need to shrink the teams. But I do think that expansion for the NBA makes sense. I'm just wondering, actually, I'm going to ask the floor, even down to you, Jomo. I want to get this from you. The smallest teams markets in the NBA goes New Orleans, Memphis, Utah, Milwaukee.
How about Charlotte? They're small.
And OKC.
Oh,
those
really?
are the 5 smallest NBA markets, right? If you had to remove one of those, I'll go over it again. Memphis, Utah, OKC, New Orleans, and Milwaukee. If you had to remove one, which team would you remove right now?
What, you mean like the city?
Yes. And relocate that elsewhere. Which one's gone?
I can't cut any of those. That's wrong.
Really?
So I would say if I have to cut a team, I wouldn't say Memphis, because Memphis is the only team in Tennessee, so people can rally behind them. OKC, because they have Zai, and their fans are pretty now, like, are growing.
Right. Yeah.
I want to let OKC go. You mentioned Milwaukee. I'd remove Milwaukee, to be honest, but because Giannis loves
Milwaukee? That's a legacy play.
I mean,
they had
no, but I mean, like, in terms of tourism, what is Milwaukee known for? Like,
no,
OKC
but, I mean,
has, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking about like tourism and just like the appeal of the city. I don't anyone that says, oh, you know what? On my week off, I'm going to Milwaukee, son. No one's going to Milwaukee. No one's going to Milwaukee. Oh, I've heard people go to OKC before. People go to Memphis before. No one's going to Milwaukee for vacation. You know what I'm saying? So,
but in the
like marketable city, Milwaukee's not really that good. But I mean, Giannis is there, so it's hard to pick him up. I'm saying, like, that city isn't cool. You know what I'm saying?
In their defense, though, Green Bay is in Wisconsin. And I don't know anyone who says, you know what, I'm going to go to Green Bay on my day off either. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. But remember, like, they have, again, the reason why Wisconsin and Milwaukee are even doing well is because they have elite superstars, right? Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, like, they have a history of elite quarterbacks and players. So, and they're football state. You know what I'm saying? Milwaukee is like, so again, like, for me, like, I feel like Milwaukee isn't a cool place. Who you mentioned who was again? Memphis, OKC, Milwaukee. What's the other two that you mentioned?
Utah, I can't move.
Utah.
That's a legacy.
Utah. Yeah, not Utah. Yeah, you can't move Utah. Exactly.
Right.
And who else do you have?
New Orleans.
And New Orleans.
They just started. Can't move New Orleans.
Yeah. Right. To me, like the only team that to me I'd move is maybe Charlotte. But I mean, that's, you know, North Carolina, you know, that's MJ's home, so I get why it's there. But
yeah. I can't move any of those teams.
Yeah.
They gotta get new teams.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what expansion is, right?
But what's funny though is that Seattle went to OKC. You know what I'm saying? Like, that team moved to OKC, right? So my thing is that, to me, I think Seattle is a bigger city and market than OKC.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm surprised that even happened in the first place. Like,
so let's spin it then. So what team do you think, in regards to expansion, should go to? Like, what team should get an expansion?
Oh, Seattle.
Seattle first, hands down. No one's gonna argue that.
100%.
Seattle. You know what? Too, I would even add in there. I'll probably give a team to, like, not Pennsylvania, but, you know, like that area. Like, I would add an additional team around, like, the DMV, like, you know, Maryland, like, DC area, Virginia. I
So,
feel like
but,
I feel like they
but
don't
Maryland's
have.
already got a team in that area with the Wizards in
I know
Washington,
I'm
right?
saying, but that area is only one team. But it is,
Mm.
but there's Maryland, Virginia, and DC's all in the area. So I'm
Mm.
saying they have the foot traffic to add additional team there if they wanted to. Like you know how like Brooklyn and there's New York Knicks, they can add a second team if they wanted to in that area because there's so many people that live there in the DMV like type of
Right.
area.
So there is an area I'd probably say the Grizzlies from Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
They need to get back to Vancouver. That's not my first choice. My first choice obviously is Seattle.
But I don't think
Outside
I don't think well in Vancouver though. I don't think they would, Faheem. You think
Really?
Vancouver? No, I think so. I live there in Vancouver, and it's really about hockey. Like I think they could have a team and it will do okay, but it will not compete with the Raptors in terms of like. I mean, now we won a championship, maybe it'll be better, but I feel like when I lived there, you really saw basketball fans. It was all mostly like either hockey or OHL. You know what I'm saying?
So
or football.
Here's where I differ though, because
Mhm.
I do know that when Seattle had a team, they had a lot of people who would go from Vancouver and
Yes,
drive down to Supersonics.
but not
So-
thousands. I mean, like hundreds.
No, well, I think Vancouver's getting a bad shake with this because of the fact that they lost a team before. But keep in mind that the economic climate was so much different when they had
True.
a team. They also started their franchise with, was it Big Country, Bryant Reeves?
Oh
So
wow!
like things could be so much different if say
they
for
had a
instance Vince
superstar.
Carter played in Vancouver. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't have Vince, and we, you know what I'm saying? Like I
No,
just think
I hear you.
you know, I think it's doable. I'm not saying bring. Trust me. There's no campaign saying bring a team to Vancouver.
Yeah,
But if they did, I wouldn't be mad at it.
yeah. I mean, out of all of the cities in Canada, if they're ever to have add a team, will be Vancouver. Nowhere else will have the capacity, the fan base.
Right.
I mean, I'll even put a team in Montreal before Vancouver. To be honest, I think Montreal would have.
No.
I think
No, I
Montreal would have a big like they have a huge multicultural. I mean,
Culture shock though.
yeah, like they have a huge culture there.
Too
like
much. Too
but,
much.
but it's French and it's a lot. So if we're not used to the French people, them you'd be like,
Right.
what? Bonjour. Ça va?
One other team with that in regards to expansion, maybe in one area we could talk about is maybe Vegas. What do you think of Vegas? The reality of them going to Vegas.
I mean, how is they already have a WNBA team there, so might as well. I mean, I think NBA team won't be that hard, but I'm curious, like to see because I know that the hockey team like they're doing pretty well in NHL too. So I mean, they can probably hold it. I mean, Vegas is becoming that city that's actually adding like teams because they make more money, right? In terms of, but again, like. They'll go to Vegas to watch a game? No, because Vegas is like so entertaining. Like it's like nothing to do. You know what I mean? But adding a team there. I mean, it depends on the local fans and the local folks who live there, right? Because Vegas, you go there for a day or two and you come back. Like it's like a 2-3 day trip tops. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on if you can keep your local fan base there.
So that's one thing about Vegas. They have a football team now. Now I know we can't really gauge because there's no fans there, obviously. But
there are fans there, but they can have a lot of fans because
right. So we'll have to see how that works out.
True.
See how that works out.
True.
So with the WNBA, they have Jordan Brand. They signed 5 WNBA players.
5 more.
They
already had 2 or 3,
Jordan
I
brand.
think, beforehand. They had 2 or 3.
Okay. Thoughts on this, Nelly J?
I think it's dope. Like, I just think that Jordan, again, is leading the pack. He's doing the things that other brands aren't doing. And I think for him to sign 5, so I think a total of 8, I think. He's Maya Moore. He has 2 others. So he's just showing that he's supporting the WNBA. I think he also sponsored them, right? I think their jerseys are Jordan. I think in the bubble, they had Jordan logo on some of their uniforms. So he's doing a lot. Like I think him investing in the WNBA showed a lot of, I think, character for him to invest in these players. And everyone he chose, they're all amazing athletes on the court and off. Like all these women have solid figures, personalities. Like they're great I mean, won Rookie of the Year this past year. Won her team led to the actual championship. Won it to the final. So he's picking elite players, and they're also women who were part of the initiative of Say Her Name, that campaign they did in the bubble. So I think it's phenomenal. Big up to all of these beautiful Black queens that are going to be sponsored. I think it's great. It's great.
So what are you saying about the elite players? So it's Asia Dur, Maya Moore, Kia Nurse. Shout out to Kia Nurse.
Yeah,
Canadian.
Kia. That's my girl.
So those are the three previously.
Yes.
And now the new ones are Jordan Canada, Tia Cooper, Crystal Dangerfield, Darika Hamby, and Satu Salabi.
Yep.
So they're the ones. So I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't know. The only I mentioned 8 female players. The only one I know is Maya Moore.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean,
hold on. Let me correct myself actually. And Kia Nurse.
And Kia, I know Kia. Yeah.
Those are the only 2 that really, when those names stick. The rest of them don't. But
well, the reason why they're all kind of new, right? Like the rookies, like Tia Cooper and like Crystal Dangerfield, they're rookies.
Okay.
Right. Even so too, like rookies as well. Like, so they just got an NBA this past year, so you wouldn't know them. Whereas Darika, I mean, she's been 6th man of the year, like I think 2 years in a row now. And then you have Jordan Canada, she's in her 3rd year, and she's won 2 titles in the last 3 years.
Wow.
You know
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Seattle, right? Seattle Storm.
Okay.
So they've won last 2 titles in the last 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
So I mean, like these, like all these girls are like literally, women, they're literally just phenomenal athletes. And like he'll never pick no scrub. I'm saying, like, Jomo won't pick no scrub player to wear on his brand. So they're all, I'm sure they probably vetted all the players and say, you know what, these are the 5 that I want to help build their brand. Because even though it's a Jordan brand, he's also going to help them build their brand and their endorsements as well. Because imagine, say, hey guys, I'm endorsed by Jordan. Oh, really? Here's the check. Take our money. Because so it's also going to build their career in basketball and the future. You know what I'm saying? So
True.
They took their time to pick these players. It wasn't just like an easy, like, oh, pick 25. No, like they took their time. So no, big up to these ladies.
So Jomo, being the sneakerhead that you are, we need your feedback in regards to this. What kind of impact do you think it's going to make real quick?
Huge. You may not see anything within the next 3 years, but in the next, I'd say 5 to 8 years, you will see a huge difference. I've always been an advocate for the bigger female sports athletes in the WNBA to be sponsored and advertised on the same level. I'm not even going to get into the ones that I think they've missed out on, but I'm super grateful that these ladies got these opportunities. And I think that it's going to make a huge impact in terms of how girls look at playing sports going forward, how basketball is developed in the States culturally going forward. And it's a very, very smart and long overdue move by Jordan Brand, but done very well. Kudos.
So one last thing in regards to this, the WNBA.
Sorry. One more thing, if I can.
Yeah.
To make it work, please make sure you drop the exclusive colorways that women and guys can get, and also make sure that they get their player exclusives too, because that's one thing that makes being a Jordan Brand athlete in the NBA is to have those player exclusives of the model. So girls need to get those, and they need to come out. That's
True.
it.
Viewership has been up 68% with the WNBA during this COVID season.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a good thing. I just want to, on the way out, I want to shout this out. Steph Curry, Under Armour last year, they came out and created a shoe for the women's market also.
Yeah, but it was Steph Curry though, I think. No, it was Steph Curry, and I guess I'm like a fan of his. A fan of his was like, oh, Steph Curry, can I have a shoe? So I'm like again, just a man. Like a man is creating a. I get it, but I'm just saying, like, Anyway.
Well, yeah,
I,
these
I
people.
also want to give shout out to Nike. They've had a strong campaign over the last 2 years
Yes.
of putting out women's exclusive sneakers, utilizing a lot of women designers as
Yep.
well. And it's been great. I'd say like one of the arguably the sneakers of the year was a woman's exclusive, being the Off-White Jordan 4. So yeah, like they've really been doing a good job on promoting that, especially Nike being the sneaker conglomerate that they are. So kudos to them.
One last thing, Jomo.
Yes, sir.
You're a huge sneakerhead. So do you own any of the 8 women's line?
I am not a huge Jordan brand collector, so I admit that I don't have any. But
or would you?
Oh, I've always wanted a pair of Diana Taurasi PEs, and I still do.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, still
there
do.
you go.
And a question for you and Jomo, Faheem. Which woman made history becoming the first woman to have her own sneaker?
Cheryl Swoops.
Ah, right.
Good job, Faheem.
Faheem was like, Cheryl Swoops, 200.
I just want to get in quick because I know Jomo might know, so I don't want to get in there first.
And guess what year that was for him, Mr.
Oh, good one. 93? 93.
Let's say 96.
95. But that was good though. Cheryl Swoops.
You win, Jomo, by 1 year.
Yeah, Cheryl Swoops. And like she's one of my favorite. Her and Cynthia Cooper are my 2 favorite ball players of all time. Like they're my go-to for me personally. No one can top Cheryl Swoops and Cynthia Cooper.
Legends.
They're like those girls are like yeah, they're my favorite female players of all time.
All right, Nelly J, let's go to For the Culture.
Ooh. So y'all, for the culture, want to highlight people, organizations that are for the culture. And today we got 2 on deck. The first one, okay, we have the People magazine named Sexiest Man Alive in 2020. We got Michael B. Jordan, okay? His fine ass. Yes, his fine ass. I'm gonna say it right now, his fine ass. He launched an actual showcase for HBCU college basketball. And it's called the Hoops Dreams Classic. Everyone knows HBCUs has been pushing for funding because, they have had trouble getting funding from the government and from public as well. So this is a great way to showcase the talent in Black athletes at these schools. But I think it's great because Faheem, like we've been seeing a huge push of like elite high school ballers and guys in football going to HBCU. So what's your thoughts on him doing this type of showcase type of classic for them?
So this is huge for me. I think for Michael B. Jordan, for me, the eyes that I see, this is like a historic legacy move for him. I think first HBCUs, historically Black college and universities. Okay. The problem is this. A lot of these schools, as you mentioned, might be underfunded, right? When you look at, so I'm going to put a pin on that, come back to that in a moment. So George Floyd, what happened to George Floyd, rest in peace, during COVID, was really an awakening for people, right? That you notice a lot of businesses and everyone's saying, hey, you know what, like race is an issue, right? Now, with that being said, I think that with what Michael B. Jordan's doing with this showcase is allowing, because remember during the George Floyd situation where we had like, was it Blackout Tuesdays? It was a Tuesday? It was the blackout?
Yeah, so on June 4th, it was a Blackout Tuesday where everyone was posting.
Right. And it was all about like, you know what, like looking after our own, supporting our own, right? That was kind of the movement. Flipping that back to now with the HBCUs, a lot of these high school kids who might be top talents don't end up going to historically Black colleges and universities. They end up going to other universities. For instance, Tennessee State is a historically Black college and university, but that's not a program. People don't go to the MBA other than Robert Covington, who made it. But I'm saying
Your
it's so
boy.
rare. And shout out to Robert Covington. That wasn't a shot at all. That's actually a salute right there that he made it. But I'm saying
Yeah.
HSBC, they don't really have that representation in the league, right? Reason being because these players will go to, you know, the Dukes and the Kentuckys and all these other universities.
But keep in mind, they had scouting. Like literally, a lot of HBCUs can't afford to hire a guy for 100K to go scout. Like these
Right.
big schools like pay these guys a lot of money to scout across
Right.
the country to find the top talent, right? Whereas HBCU with the funding, with no funding, how can you scout? So it's a two-edged sword. You know what I'm saying?
Also, having Michael B. Jordan's name behind the showcase is something where it kind of breaks the stigmatism that these HBCU schools have, you know? So maybe the goal is this: you have maybe 1, 2, 3 high, maybe McDonald's All-American types will go to the showcase, have scouts and get people in line with historically Black colleges and universities. And the goal is to have maybe a high school player go to one of these schools. That's how programs start. You get one, you get another, and then you become the place to be. And instead of these kids maybe going to Duke or Kentucky or one of these other ones, you say, hey, you know what? Maybe I might go to a historically Black college and university, and then build the program that way.
You know what? You're right, because guess what? Like we know of great players that didn't even go to college, but they were greatness.
Right.
LeBron and Kobe. You know what I mean? So imagine but now with this whole rule of having to go to college 1 year, it's like if you're imagine LeBron. I think if LeBron was coming out of high school now, I think he would have gone to an HBCU just to make a point, because he's been that great, right?
Right.
And still be drafted and still do what he did with his career. So I just feel like it's a place where, you know, we see a lot of these schools that are run by white people, but have a lot of Black athletes making them a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I just feel like we need to try to keep that type of, you know, revenue in our community, because HBCU, I mean, not all, but some are public funded. They're not, and some are private. So I feel like if we can at least get a chunk of that NCAA money and put it back at the HBCUs, that's all they need, right? Is that kind of funding to help run those schools, to educate kids on Black history and what's going on. So I think it's amazing, great initiative. And I'm really hoping that we see an uptick in exceptional Black athletes going to these schools, because they have good coaches. I mean, and if they're that great, these kids already have their private trainers, private everything anyway. So they don't really need the coach other than just kind of learning plays. But I mean, I'm really hoping, I think, was it Deion Sanders? Like he's also at one, right?
Yes, Deion Sanders, Jackson State. That's for football. And he has a son who was a top 100 prospect last year in high school. Instead of going to one of the top universities, Tennessee or, you know, Alabama,
Gators,
he said, no, I'm going with my dad and play for an HSBCU. So shout out to him. Coming back to what you mentioned about LeBron, I understand the logic, but here's where I think a LeBron at 18 years old possibly didn't have the wokeness. So I don't think LeBron back in the day.
So? I think he was woke back in his age.
I think that comes with growth and experience.
Really?
I think LeBron now in his 30s would make that power move, but an early LeBron at like 17, 18, that's a level of wokeness I don't think LeBron was at. Also, one other thing, in regards to Michigan. Remember the Michigan Wolverines? Fab Five. Weber, Jalen Rose, Jimmy Jackson, Juwan Howard. Why am I missing the fifth one? Who's the fifth one? Juwan Howard and Jimmy King. The one who, okay. So it's 5. Those 5 big high school guys end up going to Michigan, having probably the best freshman class ever. One of them. Imagine if you had those 5 instead of going to Michigan and they went to an HSB like Grambling State or something. The media would have followed them around. You know, that's how programs get built. So coming back, bring this back to what Michael B. Jordan is doing. He's doing something that's legacy now, because like I said, you're going to have a showcase showcasing the best talent and a way to try and keep this talent within the community. So shout out to Michael B. Jordan with that, for real.
Shout out. I think it's phenomenal. Yeah. And, you know, our next for the culture topic is the MLB. They are actually now going to acknowledge the Negro League. They announced it, I think it was last week. They announced that they're going to now add those players to their bill. So Faheem, kind of walk the folks through this, because I know like that everyone follows MLB, but like how big is this for the MLB to acknowledge finally after how many years the
Right.
Negro League?
So I think it's huge. But actually, I want to kind of fast forward and get to this. So you have the Negro Leagues, as everyone knows, back 100 years ago. You were a baseball player. You were good enough to play with the white major league players, but you know, segregation,
Racism, Jim
you were
Crow.
not allowed to. You had to stay in your lane. Your lane was not in our lane if you're white, right? So it goes like this. A lot of great things happened in that league. Like you had Josh Gibson. He's somebody who had over 900 home runs. And put that in context, Barry Bonds had 762. So Josh Gibson, legendary, right? But he had to do it amongst, the Negro Leagues, right? Now, the problem I have is this. Now in 2020, MLB saying, hey, you know what? We're going to recognize what you did in this league 100 years ago, right? Swinging back to what I mentioned earlier about George Floyd and just a wokeness, awakening that happened. This is only, put it this way, if George Floyd didn't happen, Major League Baseball is not going to come back now and say, hey, you know what? The racism that happened 100 years ago, you're right, it's not okay. So here's kind of my problem. If Major League Baseball now is going to
performative, you think it's performative stuff?
Yes, definitely. So if Major League Baseball is going to recognize, hey, you know what? Maybe what we did was racist, and maybe the fact that they're not part of our league setting records, that is racist. It doesn't stop there though. I don't think just adding them to major league records is enough. If you're really about it and about change, you're going to expand it. This is what I want to hear from Major League Baseball, not just adding the Negro Leagues to their records. I also want to hear Major League Baseball is investing in Black communities for baseball. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it just to stop with the records. I want them to continue to show, yeah, you know what? Because we're talking 100 years of holding the race down. You know what I'm saying?
No,
so you
for
can't just
real.
eradicate that and get rid of it with just by saying, hey, you know what? We'll accept you now. You know what I'm saying? So
No, it's funny because, and let's be real, those guys scout in brown countries for ball players. Like,
of course,
they're
all over South
Dominican, they're in
America.
all those islands to scout for,
Right.
Black and brown players.
Right.
So, it's something where, as you mentioned, people got awoke this year. It's and we got to make sure that's not performative. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like today I just read that Adam Silver wants players not to kneel, during the anthem. And I'm like, so the bubble was just a whole theatrical thing? Like,
right.
and then he's like, okay, well, maybe we'll allow it, but let's talk about it. Like, no, like you can't just say y'all can kneel and y'all could smoke marijuana in the bubble and now go, oh, you know what? Let's go back to, no, like you can't go backward. Like you have to continue being progressive. Like you have to continue the move and the work, right? Like just how some players this year at NFL, they thought the NFL was being performative with having the Black spiritual ritual, song being sung. It's like, no, we want to see more. So like the MLB, any other league, we want to see more. Don't just have this year, George Floyd. Oh my God, we feel guilty for what happened. So let's just try to give them a little bit of something. But next year it's like, all right, guys, we're back to square one. Like, no, things need to change. So I agree with you. MLB, like this is, to me, I mean, I wasn't like happy. I'm like, yo, it's about time. I'm like, it's about time. Like,
one last thing.
Like you're late.
And yeah, you're right about being late. And here's exactly how late they are. The Cleveland Indians had to change their name before this announcement made. Think about that. Like, you had to wait for a name that is for like last 10, 15 years, they've been dying to have changed. The Washington football team dropped the Redskins after how many years? You mean to tell me you let these things happen before you actually decide, let's add these players to our record books? Major League Baseball, I need more. It doesn't stop there.
No. And I'm wondering, like, if they have like a diversity alliance, because like I think NFL added one last year, NBA has one now, NHL, we saw with Kevin Weeks, big up Kevin, they have theirs as well. But I wonder if they're going to start like an actual like racial relations diversity or like within, because they need one. You know what I'm saying? Like the MLB to me has been very polarized. Like, you know, there are rarely any Black owners, Black partners, and you know, like we got to see more. You know what I'm saying?
More,
So
right.
and even like their viewership, how well are they doing viewership wise? Like they've been they're a top sport, and now they're like what, 6 in terms of the top 5, like NHL. Like they're dropping because I feel like those owners are just so old and they haven't done any changes to make their teams better in terms of.
Well, it's called America's pastime, right?
Okay,
So
exactly.
I mean that pastime may have passed, and it's onto a new time.
It's a new time, boy. Change up the things, because y'all are not like literally. Again, like we watched. I know for me, I watch, you know, the Jays because they're my home team. But I'm not like, yo, I'm gonna watch. Like, I mean, without playoffs, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch. Like, I'll watch highlights, but I'm not gonna watch baseball because, to me, again, it's a pastime. It's better to watch it there than watch it from home.
Right.
You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm just happy that it's about time they have acknowledged it. But like you said, we need more. And we're hoping that this is not a trend because it's 2020 and you feel guilty, that white guilt. Hopefully we can see more progression within that league. Because again, like what was said by Kevin Weeks, Black and brown people are spending more money than any other race. Okay. So if you want people to invest in your business and invest in your product, you got to cater to us. Because without us, y'all ain't gonna do nothing. Not a thing.
Nelly J, you said it best. Let's go to That's Absurd.
That's absurd. Yo, Faheem, it's our last absurd segment for the year. Bro, this week, what was absurd, bro? What was absurd?
All right. So this is going to be a combo. This is like the Jordan and Pippen of absurdity right now with these two players.
A 2-piece combo for KFC? What you're saying right now? A 2-piece, a toonie combo on a Toonie Tuesday? Let me go.
It includes absurdity of, actually, I'll start with Dwayne Haskins. He's been fined by his team for $40,000 for being maskless with a stripper.
At a strip club as well, I think.
Absurd.
Like you would think that, you know, during a pandemic, if you're getting paid how much of dollars, that you've one job, bro. You have one job. What's worse is that you're pushing, your team is on the cusp of making it to the playoffs as a wild card, okay? They actually can make it, Faheem. And this man has one job. Because that's what, their starter got injured. So, bro, you have one job. One. Play football. And wear a mask when you go outside your house. That's it. It's not hard. But you decided to go to a strip club. But again, this happened. Okay, so context. They were playing the Seattle. They were playing Seattle on Sunday. They lost 20-15. Okay, I get it. And what happened is that he's only played, I think, like this year, like 6 games, and has 5 touchdowns, has thrown 5 interceptions. He threw 2 of those against Seattle Seahawks. All right. So I guess maybe after that game, you know, and they lost by 5. So that's obviously like interception. That sucks. So clearly I get it. You were sad. You were depressed or whatever it was. And you wanted to let out some steam. I get it, bro. But you're an NFL player. You can't just hire a stripper to come to your house. Like, to me, there's many ways like we'll talk for him. Like, there's many ways that if you want to see a girl, okay, you've options. You're an actual pro athlete. For you to go to an actual club to have pictures taken of you with your mask off, you're a dummy. You're an actual dummy. Like, it's so sad because, again, like, he did it during a playoff push. Your team was trying to make it to the playoffs, bro, in a pandemic.
In his defense, maybe he was hungry.
For some what?
Maybe he went for the Lou Will special.
You want some wings?
Maybe he just wanted some wings, man.
Listen, order that indoor, bro. Your team's trying to make it to the playoffs. And you know that they're relying on you as the QB. Remember, you're the QB. Right. So why would make this man want to go to a strip club during a pandemic?
I don't know. No, I agree. You know, It's about leadership and staying focused. Remember Vince Young? That's kind of that's where I'm putting Haskins, just in regards to a young guy out the gate that had a lot of potential. But just as a career went on, things that were just showing that maybe they weren't exactly what you'd hope they would be. He's kind of Haskins kind of is a little bit of a disappointment where he is now. Same thing with Vince Young. Vince Young had a time, but things outside the field, you can tell that helped to his demise. So I'm just hoping, I'm not saying him going to the strip club is a reason to say, oh, well, you know what, it's going to lead to his demise. But in knowing that you're in a playoff push and QB is supposed to be a leadership position, and there's just so many things that factor in, that if you can't get this right now, he's got to watch himself, because he can find himself where, he couldn't lose a position.
Well, not even that.
He's not great.
Teams are saying that they're saying that, like, who would want him? Like, if your team's going for a playoff push and you can't even focus and stay in your yard or wear a mask, like, what team will want you? Because that right there is showing, like, the NFL, your fan, that you don't care. Like, you don't care. So he did issue an apology the next day saying he's sorry, but I think you're sorry they got caught, bro. You got sorry because to me, real talk, like, are you really sorry, or are you sorry you got caught? Because I think if he didn't get caught, he would have been in the club tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even think he's sorry. But again, I won't speak for him, but I just hope he learned his lesson. And guess what? This is his first time he did this. The first time he did this was actually he invited a non-player, an athlete, to the hotel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. It's the second infraction during the pandemic. So the first one was he invited a non-player athlete to his room in preseason. Okay, wow. So the first one. The second time now is when he's going to the strip club. You know what I'm saying? So this is something ain't right. Like, it's just absurd because in the NFL, only a certain amount of teams make it to the playoffs. Okay. And you're just trying to like it's just sad. Like, I feel bad for those fan base. And hopefully, and if they lose this upcoming Sunday, he's
not
done.
Looking good.
It ain't.
Also, shout out to his sidekick, James Harden. Now, Harden's, as we know, it's alleged. There's not really much behind it. It's not like Haskins where we can pinpoint and say it's factual, this happened. A lot of things about the Harden story. I mean, that's going to be something I think is developing. So maybe we might just want to kind of leave that open, segue into, by the time we come in 2021, we can allude on that a little bit more.
Well, I mean, all I know is this. What happened is this. The team investigated, and today he was fined $50K. That's all I know. So clearly he broke some protocol. They said he broke COVID protocol. Could it be strip club? Could it be whatever? I don't know what he did, but he broke protocol and he's fined $50,000. Now the question is, how long will Harden not play? Will it be 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Right? Because now I think they're testing all the players on the team to see if anyone has COVID. So I'm telling you, if everyone got COVID on that team, he's done. But I think one player got COVID. I think John Wall got COVID this week on the team. So Rockets is just backing out right now. So I'm sure we'll see more of what's happening. But all I know is that Wall was positive. Harden broke protocol, $50K. And it's just a mess. An actual mess. And that's why in my fantasy basketball, I didn't draft one Rockets player upon my team, because they're just messy. Nasa. I didn't. I'm like, Harden, nope. Wall, nope. I want none of y'all. That team is just toxic for right now. I don't want
Jomo, on the way out, Jomo. Harden's your man's, right?
Yeah, Team Adidas all day.
Team Adidas.
You
backing him or what?
I think the moves are kind of foolish. And again, my viewpoint is this. You want to leave this team. You want another NBA team to hire you to play ball professionally. You have a monster contract. So they have to move a lot of pieces, make a lot of sacrifice in order to accommodate you no matter where you go. To make that easier on yourself, I think your best possible option is to get on the court, play amazing, conduct yourself in the most professional way, and keep amplifying the fact that you want to be somewhere else.
Yes.
So by you taking the approach of, you know what, I'm not getting what I want, so I'm going to do things that are contrary to team, but end up looking contrary to the league, which makes you makes me as an owner of another franchise not want to touch you, right? So I think you got to be a little bit cognizant of that, and I wish he was doing more of that. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but that's just my 2 cents. He's a billionaire.
I agree with you. And guess what, Harden? You have one job. Harden, you have one job. Play basketball. You're being paid what, 40 million a year to play basketball. 40 million to play a sport you love. That's, I mean, and I would think this year people will be more humbled and more appreciative because people lost jobs all over the world because of this pandemic. And we got Harden getting paid millions of dollars, but he's upset because he's not on the right team that he wants to be on. It's just perspective, Jomo, and I agree with you. I just feel like I get it. You don't want to be there, but just show professionalism and show that you care, because why would a team move like 6 players for you?
For you.
Why?
Right.
Tell him again.
One last thing on the way out I want to say about Harden with this. So it seems like Harden's moving because he wants to put the team in a position to move him. He no longer wants to be there. Clearly, a lot of things you're hearing about him throwing the ball at a player, allegedly, his teammate, just a lot of things, just not showing up to practice. It's a mess. I get it. You don't want to be there anymore. What James Harden, I don't think understands is and we keep hearing of James Harden possibly going to the Sixers, James Harden possibly going to
Warriors, the Nuggets,
the Warriors, the Nuggets, the Nets. We're hearing all
Mavericks,
these
everyone.
We're hearing all these contenders.
The Bachelor.
We're hearing all these contenders attached to James Harden's name. What I don't think James Harden understands is if I was the Rockets GM and you're moving like that, because if you want to move, there's a way you can move. You can move, as Jomo, you mentioned, professionally, right? If you're not going to move professionally, maybe we might not want to be so professional. And maybe I might want to get on the phone with the GM of the Sacramento Kings and say, hey, you know what? Let's talk. Because I'm telling you, James Harden, he's acting like they have to move him to a contender. But if he ends up in like Sacramento, you might have been better staying in Houston than playing in Sacramento. So he needs to just cool himself and just play the game right. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. And to add to what you said, he wanted John Wall, and now he's the one. Like he asked for John Wall, he got John Wall, and now he wants to go.
I think he probably asked for it because he figured they probably couldn't do it, and it would probably use that as an excuse to say, hey, you know what? I want out of here. You can't give me what I got, what I want. And he gets what he wants, and he wants to move. He's just a mess. Anyway, like I said, we'll go to 2021 with a little bit more on this.
Let's just all pray for the Rockets because they have a situation on deck. Real talk.
All right, let's throw this episode in the book.
Brothers. Before we go, brothers, stay out of the club. Just stay out of the club.
Yo, them strippers got y'all like that.
You're lonely. You ain't got nobody beside you at night. You had a rough day. I know. But brothers, stay out the club.
Stay out of the clubs.
Yeah, that reminds me of Stephen A. Stop smoking the weed.
All right, let's put this episode in the book. God. Okay, episode 19.
Y'all, oh my gosh, it was so good, guys. Thank you for joining us. It's our last episode for the year, but we thankful. We appreciate y'all.
Right.
And we got the superstar Faheem on TV now. You know what I'm saying, y'all? We got to big up our homie doing big things. Thank you, Jomo, for being on, of course, being our tech guy, for having our back, keeping us in check every episode. Big up, Jomo. But before we head out, y'all, let's do our shout out. So Jomo, you go first. Who you want to shout out today, bro?
I want to shout out every single viewer, subscriber, guest, person who listened to us whine about what we have to do to get this podcast going. I want to give a huge shout out to Janelle, who keeps our social media on point, keeps our subscribers and our fans engaged. Which is what we're really about, because it's great that we have all this content, but if you don't get to hear it, it doesn't have the same value. So thank you for that, Janelle. I want to thank Faheem You and Janelle go at it every week, researching these topics, finding different things for us to bring to our viewers that they're not going to find on the main networks, which, you know, is what we're about. So I know how hard that is. And I know you guys got other jobs and you got, you know, Team Isla going on. So I get it.
Team
So
Isla.
thank you guys so much for that. This is why I'm here every week. So thank you guys for that. I really appreciate you guys. Happy holidays. Merry Festivus to the rest of us. What's the next?
Nice. I'll go next. My shout out, first of all, I want to shout out Jomo. As usual, holding us down behind the scenes, doing an excellent job. Can't thank him enough. So respect. Want to shout out Nelly J, the hardest working woman in media.
Media.
No, she puts in a lot of people. It's more than just coming in and just talking and spewing your opinions. A lot of research, this is a job in itself and a commitment. We have to really pat ourselves collectively on the back and celebrate our small victories. We went at this every week. We consistent, dropping. So,
Talk.
it's a team thing. Love my team. So thank you guys so much. Go ahead, Nelly J.
Thank you. No, thanks. And, shout out to, first of all, I would say Jomo. Jomo is literally, guys, he is energy. People understand, his energy is so magnetic. He's just always positive, always has great ideas, but he's just that guy that you call him and you're upset, he'll make you feel better. So Jomo is a glue within this team. He's so important. So Jomo, thank you for your energy. Thank you for your insight and for always keeping us in line, bro. Come back online. Appreciate you, Jomo. Faheem, big up my partner in crime, y'all. Honestly, I'm Faheem and I literally are teammates. You know what I'm saying? It's he is we have this great connection where we can work together. We don't disagree everything all the time, but we understand it's just business. It's not personal. It's yo, cool. No. All right, done. And it's done. That's how we work. We're professional, but we're also understand that we have the same goal and the same mission when it comes to bringing you guys the content that's not out there on any network in Canada. So we're just trying to create a space for us to promote not only the culture of sport, but also promote our guests who I think are leaders in our community. We had Kevin, we had Dwayne, we had realtors, we've had brokers, we've had everyone, we've entrepreneurs on here. So we just hope and thank our guests. But I feel Faheem is such a great partner, and I wouldn't want to work with anyone else. Real talk, I've had people come to me oh, Janelle, I'm guys, I'm busy. I got Faheem, my partner. I don't want no one else. I am done. You know what I'm saying? So thank you, Faheem. Thank you for putting up with me. I'm a lot sometimes. I appreciate you, bro. But thanks for always having deep insight and being able to kind of let me know what the deal is and, work together. So big you up. And I want to really big up, just all our guests, real talk. Our guests came on here not knowing who we really were, but came on here and became our family. You know what I'm saying? All of our guests are a family. So big up to the Good Rookies family, to our subscribers, to our listeners, to our viewers. And thank you for all the comments, for all the feedback. We appreciate y'all. Big up Big O Podcast. Big up Anson. Big up you guys too.
True indeed. All right. So let's throw this in the books. Episode 19.
All right, y'all. Please subscribe, share with a friend to share with a friend.
Check us out on Apple Podcast app. Spotify. I was going to say Google Play.
Google Play.
Anywhere that you want a podcast, we're there for you. If you actually listen to this now, I salute you. For everyone who puts in the time and says, let me give these guys an hour of my day once a week. You have no idea. There's so much other things you could be doing with that hour. And just as the fact that you're actually taking in our opinions, our thoughts, and just being part of the conversation, I salute you also. All right. This is Good Rookies Podcast, episode 19. Have a blessed 2021. We out. Peace.
Peace.